أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to everyone who's present in the class today. Jazakumullah for arriving on time and early. We're going to start our today's class with the opening prayer. Discipline in charge, can you please give me a student to read the prayer for me, please?
Assalamu alaikum. Our
Walaikum
first
assalam.
student is A1193.
A1193, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Would you like to have a quick reading this prayer for me, please?
Yes, please.
Jazakallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم.
MashaAllah, very well read. Can you read the translation for me as well, please?
Our Lord, accept from us, for you are all hearing, all knowing. Al-Baqarah 128.
Very good. Our Lord, accept from us, for you are all hearing and all knowing. Al-Baqarah 128. Jazakallah, very well read. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So today we are going to continue with yesterday's lesson, which is rules of waqf. But before that, we are going to have a presentation to help give you some context of waqf rules. Is the other day teacher available?
No, I don't think so. She is here.
She's not here yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, just a second. Okay, so since she's not here at the moment, so by the time she comes, we're going to start with our lesson. So yesterday, I'm just going to remind by the time she comes. So yesterday, all of you revised rules of waqf, which is lesson 21. There are various rules, different how you when you are taking a pause, how you pronounce the words and what changes you make in different words. For example, when there is simple fatha, kasra, and dhamma, you change them into sukoon over here like this. And when there is tanween of kasra and tanween of dhamma, you change them into sukoon as well. When there is vertical kasra and vertical dhamma, those are changed into sukoon as well. And when you have tanween of fatha, fatha with alif is pronounced in place of tanween. But when you have vertical fatha, vertical kasra, and vertical dhamma, they don't change, they remain the same. And when you have tashdid or mushaddad letter at the end, those are still manifested, so you do pronounce the mushaddad letter, but the stroke is just changed into sukoon. So these were the different rules of waqf that all of you revised yesterday. So before we start with the exercise, we're going to have the presentation now. Can I please request the other day teacher MT111 to please start with her presentation?
I can't make her host.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do that.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am very good. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, so I will take over the screen and I will introduce the presentation.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Okay, if you just bear with me. Okay, so can day teacher, if I could just ask, the rules of waqf, rules of pause, the presentation should be completely covering the screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay then, so let me start again afresh with the students. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Welcome to Friday, the end of week 9. And today we're just going to put into context the lesson that we started yesterday. Now, before we get into this presentation, teachers have been saying throughout this course here and there that parents or other adults should sit with the students. And this is because they can go over the lesson with their children and ensure that the children understand what is being taught and help them with their practice. Now, today's lesson is quite important, and we are having a presentation to introduce it. This is the lesson that we started yesterday and we're continuing today. It's a very important lesson. And what we want is that parents or the other adults that sit with you, they should be sitting with you. Okay, so if you're a student and you're sitting on your own, please go and find your parents to come and sit down with you now, or at least ask them to watch the recording of this lesson later on so that they can see what this presentation was all about. Okay, so we're coming to the end of week 9 and we've done most of our teaching, and inshallah within a week, maybe after next week, we will be moving on to reading the Holy Quran itself. But to do that properly, we need to teach one very, very important lesson. And that was the lesson that we started yesterday, in which you learned about the rules of waqf. Now, waqf means to stop or to pause. So the lesson that we started yesterday and that we're going to conclude today is all about the rules of pausing. Okay, so now let me just remind you about what we've been doing so far. This course, the G1 course, teaches you how to recite the Quran. And so far, you've been taught how to recognize letters when they're in their combined form. Those letters that make thick and heavy sounds and those letters that make thin sounds. You've been taught about strokes, both the short strokes, such as the fatha and the kasra, and the long strokes, like the inverted dhamma. You've been taught nonation, sukoon or jazm, tashdid or shadda, nasalization, elongation, which is the madda, quiescent hamza, combining, extended elongation, where you stretched for up to 6 seconds in some cases, and assimilation, which was the most recent lesson. Now, correct recitation is a 2-part process. The first part is the precise articulation of Quranic letters. And what that is basically saying, is a fancy way of saying it, is all of the things that we've already taught you, the precise articulation of Quranic letters, how to pronounce them properly and how to take note of the strokes that come with them and to make sure that the timing is right, how to join letters according to whether there's a sukoon or whether there's a tashdid, whether there's assimilation. Those things that we've taught you, that's one part of correct recitation. Okay, so those are the things that we've been teaching you so far. Secondly, the second part of correct recitation is the recognition of pauses. And this is to know where and how to stop and start during a recitation. There are rules of pause. You can't stop just anywhere. Now in lesson 21, which is the one that we started yesterday and we're concluding today, inshallah, we've been learning about those rules and today you should be practicing them. And in this lesson, you'll learn how to make a pause at the end of or in a portion of a verse. Now, I've just mentioned verse, Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you, first of all, what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this page from the Holy Quran and see what verses look like. Now, here is a short verse. It starts there at the Sod and it ends right here at the Noon. It's a short verse. You can see from the highlighted letters, it's not particularly long. Now here is another verse. It's a much longer verse. It starts here at the Ya and it ends here at the Ra. And if you can notice, the highlighted portions is a much longer verse. Both of them are verses. One is short, one is much longer. Now I also want you to notice some marks of pause, like this one and this one. These are signs of pause and they indicate whether it's okay to stop there or not. And lastly, I want you to notice this square box. This is a mark that indicates the verse ends there. In this particular Quran, a square box has been used to indicate the end of a verse. It also includes a number inside of that box, which tells you the number of that particular verse. Now, in different grammar majids, you will find different shapes that are used to indicate the end of a verse. Here is a square box, but in some grammar majids, you'll see some quite ornate designs and some quite beautiful calligraphy as well around them. But a verse ends and there's usually a mark there. Okay, so now that we've seen what a verse actually looks like, let's find out what a verse actually is. Now in the Holy Quran, there are 6,348 verses. And in Arabic, verses are called ayah if it's just one verse, and ayat when there's more than one. Ayat is the plural. The Holy Quran is written in Quranic Arabic, and like all languages, Quranic Arabic is made up of letters which join together to make words, which join together to make sentences, which in turn join together to make paragraphs. Verses are a bit like paragraphs. They're not sentences, they're more like paragraphs. So within a verse, you'll have a few sentences, if you like. Okay, if you want to compare it to the English. Now, that tells you what a verse actually is, and I've just shown you what a verse actually looks like. Now, you will have almost certainly listened to people reciting the Holy Quran, and you will have noticed that people try to recite with a melody. And a melody is a type of a tune. Okay, so recitation should be melodious. But when you're reciting using a melody, it uses up breath. And when we run out of breath, we need to stop in order to take more breath in, and then we can continue reciting. Now, as you've just seen, some verses are short and they can be read in one breath, so there's no need to take a pause at all. But other verses are longer and they can't be read by everyone in one breath. Very, very young students can't read verses without taking lots and lots of breaths. As you become more experienced, you can read more and more longer verses and keep your breath. And if you're not particularly fit, you will also need to take a lot of breaths. So some verses are longer and not everyone can read them in one breath. And some verses are even longer. So I've given you some examples that I showed you, a short verse and a longer verse, but there are other verses which are even longer than that. And when you're reciting those in particular, there will have to be a pause and a restart in the recitation. And that's why you need to know how to stop when you're going to pause. Now, it's perfectly okay to pause and take a breath when you're reciting, but you do have to be careful where you stop. And you can stop within a verse if there's a proper pause mark. You can stop elsewhere too, but wherever it is, the meaning must not change. Now, I know you're all beginners. The meaning must not change. Okay, apologies. My phone just went and it distracted me. Okay. Okay, so where was I? Yes. So when you're reciting, you can pause where there's a proper pause mark, but you can stop elsewhere too. But wherever you pause, the meaning must not change. Now, I know you're all young, and so you won't understand the Arabic, and therefore you won't know whether the meaning is going to change or not. That's why it's always good to be sitting with someone older, someone more experienced, who can point out to you a correct place to stop. You should always stop at the end of a verse. It's sunnah, which means it's how the Holy Prophet, peace be and blessings of Allah be upon him, how he used to recite. Always stop at the end of a verse. You can continue at the end of a verse. There's no prohibition to stop, to not continue, but it's always better to stop at the end of a verse. Okay. Now, when you stop and you take a pause, you have to remember that there are rules of pause. Sometimes you will read what you stop at exactly as it is written. There'll be absolutely no change whatsoever. And other times when you're reading, the letter that you're reading needs to be pronounced differently. A different letter needs to come into play. Sometimes the stroke will change. Sometimes the timing of how you read something will change. Lots of things come into play, and those things are what we are teaching you in yesterday's and today's lesson. The way you pause depends on the end letter of the word that you are going to pause at. It depends on the stroke and the symbol that is carried by the end letter. Okay, so when you stop and take a pause, you have to remember that there are rules of pause. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to recite a verse from chapter 2. It's verse 45. And what I'm going to do, inshallah, is read the verse 2 times. Once, all continuously. I won't take any pauses whatsoever. I'll try and read it all in one breath. And another time, second time, I'll read it and take pauses. And I want you to notice the difference. Okay, so here is this verse, okay, and inshallah, in one breath, I will start at the beginning and then read all the way through. And I'd want you to pay attention to how I'm reading, and especially the highlighted letters, what I do, okay? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الراكعين أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون. Now, I don't know if you paid enough attention there because I was reading fairly fast, but if you notice, where the first ra is, there's a kasra underneath. When I was reading, the kasra, I pronounced it. Where the mim is, there's a sukoon on the top, and I read it in exactly the way it's written, with the sukoon on the top. Where the highlighted ba is, with the fatha, I was reciting continuously, so the fatha was pronounced. And at the end, because I actually paused on the noon which had the fatha on top, I paused there, so the fatha changed into a sukoon. So I read it as taqilun. I didn't say luna, okay, because I paused. Now that's how you read when you're reading in continuation. You read basically everything that you are seeing as it's read. Now I'm going to reread this verse, inshallah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause at these highlighted letters, okay? And I want you to notice the difference. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الراكعين أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون. Now this time I paused. Now when I paused on the ra, there is a tashdid on the top of the ra, there's a kasra underneath. And I put into play the appropriate rule for pausing when there is a tashdid and when there is a kasra. The kasra disappears and the ra has a jazm on the top of it. So I'm going to read the ba, which comes just before it, and join it to the ra as a bir. But because there's a tashdid on the top of the ra, I stress the fact that there's a tashdid there. So I said bir. With the mim sakin, I paused there. But according to the rules of waqf, when you stop on a letter that carries a sukoon, there is no change. And that's why when I paused there, I read it as anfusakum. And it's no different to if I was going to carry on and read it as anfusakum wa antum. The kum stays exactly as it is because there is no change when there's a sukoon on top of a letter and you choose to pause there. I paused at the ba, the next highlighted letter, and that has a fatha. When you pause at a letter that has a fatha, the fatha becomes a sukoon. So what I read there was Nal Kitab. I paused on the ba, but I paused on it as if it was a ba sakin. And at the end, where there's a noon with a fatha, I paused in exactly the same way as I did before, because I paused last time as well. The fatha became a sukoon, so the noon became a noon sakin. Okay? Now, I hope that that's made it a little bit clearer as to what rules of pause are and when they come into play. And it puts it a bit more into context as to what the lesson that we're teaching you currently is all about. Okay, so just to summarize, in this presentation, you've been shown that correct recitation requires knowledge to both read and to pause. You've been shown what a verse is, and you've been introduced to the fact that there are verses of various lengths and that you can stop at appropriate pause marks within verses. You can stop elsewhere too, so long as the meaning doesn't change. You should stop at the end of a verse, but you don't have to. And you were also given an example of a recitation, both in continuity and with the application of the waqf rules. You've been told that there are rules of pause which depend on the letter, the stroke, and the symbol that is carried by the end letter of the word stopped at. So hopefully what I've done is I've put a bit of context into the lesson that you are currently being taught. And what I will do now is say Jazakumullah for your time, and I will now hand you back to the day teacher. I can just... okay, so if the teacher can take back control of the screen.
Okay. Mashallah, very nice presentation. Jazakallah. I hope this presentation has helped all of you in some way. Um, um, yes. Okay. So we're going to continue now with yesterday's lesson. All of you started with exercise 21.1 yesterday, and now we're going to continue with the exercise. Can I please request the discipline in charge to unmute a student so that I can ask them to help me out with the words over here?
Sure. First Nasra is N1305.
N1305, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Assalamualaikum.
How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. So did you like the presentation?
Yes.
That's nice. Did it help you?
Yes.
That's great. Okay, so we're going to start with this line over here. Would you like to have a go at reading it?
Yes.
Okay, mashallah, very good. Okay, so do you want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Shaku.
Very good, mashallah.
Allah hudda hudda.
Okay. First, because we're going to pause over here, we're going to take a pause. So we're not going to read this fatha stroke over here. The stroke is going to change into sukoon. So it's going to become al-hud hud.
Yes.
Would you like to read it again?
Yes. Al hud hud.
Yes, mashallah. Very good. Okay, this one?
Fastaghfiruhu.
Okay, again over here, because we're going to pause, the dhamma stroke is going to change into a sukoon. Just like you reminded in the presentation just now, we're not going to read this letter as hu. The stroke over here is going to change into a sukoon. So we're going to read it as wastaghfiruh.
Fastaghfiruhu.
Yes, one more time.
Fastaghfiruhu.
Mashallah, very good. Okay, this one.
Juz'a.
Okay, that was correct, but because we're going to read it as fatha with alif instead of tanween of fatha, we're going to prolong the sound for 2 seconds. So it's going to be juz'a.
Juz'a.
Yes, exactly like how you do in haruf al-madda. Because instead of tanween, we're going to read one fatha with an alif. So it's going to become a. So we're going to prolong it for 2 seconds. Juz'a.
Juz'a.
Yes, very good. Next one.
Bala.
Okay. This is harufilin. Remember, it's waw sakin with a letter that has fatha on top of it. So we're going to read it as mo.
Okay. Mo.
Yes. And again over here, just similar to this example over here, there is tanween of fatha. So when you have tanween of fatha, instead of reading the tanween, you read one fatha stroke and make the other one as alif. So it's going to be maula.
Bola.
Yes. Would you like to read it again?
Yes. Bola.
Very good. So would you like to read this line one more time?
Okay. Shaku.
Very good.
الهدهد
Very good.
فاستغفروا
واستغفروه.
واستغفروا
Yes, remember it's huruf madda over here, so we're going to prolong the sound for 2 seconds.
جزءا
Very good.
بولة
No,
بولة
try again.
بولة
Mashallah. Very good. Very well read. And Jazakallah for reading the words out for me. And
Excuse me,
yeah,
can my sister have a go?
okay, sure. Can I have her ID?
N1286.
N1286.
Yes.
Okay. N1286. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. So would you like to have a go at reading the next line for me, please?
Bayza'u.
Okay. So remember, it's haruf leen over here. It's ya sakin with the letter before that has a fatha stroke. It's bay. So would you like to try again?
Bayza'u.
Okay. Over here, do you remember which letter is this?
Dot.
Yes, very good. And it's a thick letter, so remember to keep the sound thick. Then over here, we have got an extra long stretch. So do you remember for how many seconds you prolong the sound for extra long stretch?
46.
Yes, very good. And over here, since we are going to pause, we're going to take a pause. So when there's a dhamma stroke on top of any letter, we remove the dhamma stroke and change it into a sukoon. Okay?
Yeah.
So would you like to try reading the word again for me, please?
Bayda'u.
Okay. It's bay, because remember this is haruf leen. Bayda.
Oh. Bayda.
Yes, because there's a hamza, so we need to make sure that we do pronounce the letter hamza. Because there's instead of dhamma stroke, we're going to change the stroke into a sukoon. So we're not going to read it as u. Instead, we're going to give it a slight jerk. Okay,
Yeah.
to make sure that the sound of hamza is pronounced. So bayda.
Bayda.
Yes, just remember to give a slight jerk at the end to make sure that everybody can hear the hamza sound. Okay. Bayda.
Bayda.
Okay, very good. Would you like to try this one?
Al zab al khab'a.
Okay. Again, over here, we're going to change the fatha stroke into a sukoon, but we need to make sure that we do pronounce the letter hamza. Al khab.
Al khab'a.
Al khab.
Al khab.
Al khab.
Al khab.
It's because we need to make sure that the hamza sound, you do pronounce the hamza sound at the end. It's going to be al khab.
Al khab.
Al khab.
Al khab.
Yes, because over here there's a sukoon on ba, and then instead of fatha, we're going to change it into a sukoon. Okay? Okay, would you like to try the next word now?
Manata. Wait, what?
Yes, just give it a try.
Manat.
Okay, so let's have a look at the rule over here. So yes, when we have ta al-marbuta, which is this ta, the round ta, when we have this ta with any stroke on top of it, we change the stroke into sukoon. Okay, so like over here in this example, it's musfiratun, but we're changing ta al-marbuta, the round ta, and the stroke into a sukoon. So it's going to be musfirah. Okay, so similarly over here, it's manatan. So
Manatan.
yes, instead of reading it as tan, we're going to change the stroke over here into a sukoon. So would you like to give it a try now?
Manat.
It's going to be, we're going to change the ta and the tanween of fatha into a sukoon. So it's going to be mana.
Manat.
Yes, it's going to become a ha. Okay? Because we're going to change the ta and the tanween at the top into sukoon. Ta al-marbuta, and the stroke over here is going to change into sukoon. So it's going to become a ha. It's mana.
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 Okay, very good. Would you like to try this one?
Yunabba.
Yeah. Yunabba.
Yunabba.
Yes, because there's already a sukoon on top of alif. The word is going to stay the same. Yunabba.
Yunabba.
Yes, good. Next one.
Annashlata.
Try one more time.
Annashlata.
Okay. Do you know which letter is this?
Lam.
No, it's an alif.
Oh.
Would you like to try again now?
Annasata.
Okay. Remember, this is noon mushaddad, so you need to prolong the sound for a few seconds. And again, similarly over here, we're going to change ta marbut and the stroke into sukoon. It's going to become a ha, just similar to this example over here. So would you like to give it a try now?
Annashata.
Okay. Remember, we're going to change the ta marbuta, the stroke, into sukoon. So it's going to become ha. Annash'ah.
Annasha.
Annash'ah.
Annasha.
Yes, very good. Okay, mashallah, very well read. Jazakallah for helping me out with this line. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum assalam. So can I have another student, please?
Yes. A1221.
Assalamualaikum.
A1221. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah. Would you like to have a good reading the next line for me, please?
Yeah.
Jazakallah.
Mir.
Try one more time.
Mustamir.
Okay, you're reading it correct, but remember the ra is a mushaddad letter over here, so we do need to give some emphasis on the letter. We do need to pronounce the mushaddad over here. So mustamir.
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 Yes, remember there's the meme is not a mushaddad letter. Instead, ra is the mushaddad letter. Mustamir.
Mustamir.
Yes, very good. Next one.
Al-Bafar.
Okay, remember which letter is this?
Oh, Meme.
Yes, very good. Give it a try now.
Al-Farm.
Al-Mafar.
Al-Matar.
Al-Mafar.
Al-Mafar.
Yes, Al-Mafar.
Al-Mafar.
Yes, very good. One more time. Al-Mafar.
Al-Mafar.
Yes, very good. Next one.
Kurana.
Okay, very good. You did pause correctly. Just remember over here this vertical fatha on top of alif. So you need to prolong the sounds for 2 seconds. Qur'ana.
Qur'ana.
Yes, very good. Next one.
Altara.
Would you like to follow me with this
Yes.
one? Okay. So remember, this is a blank letter, so we're not going to read it. This lam over here is a blank letter. We're not going to read it. We're going to join alif with the mushaddad letter over here. So at-taraqi.
At-tarafi.
Do you know why we're reading it as qi instead of qia?
Because there's 2 words on the last one.
Because there's a fatha stroke on the last letter, ya. There's a fatha stroke, and because we're taking a pause, we're going to change the fatha into a sukoon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why we are reading it as ki instead of kia. So let's read it one more time. At-taraqi.
Al-taraqi.
Okay, very good.
Yatama. Yatamatta.
Remember, you are combining meme with the tha mushaddad over here. Yatamatta.
Yatamatta.
Yes, very good. MashaAllah, very well read. Jazakallah for helping me out. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Jazakallah.
Awesome, Jaza. Can I please have another student now?
Yes, N1273.
N1273, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good.
Your voice is really low. I cannot hear you properly. Can you come closer to your mic, please? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
It's a bit better, but still very light.
I think it's because my
It's
mic
better
is
now.
a bit broken.
It's better now. Okay. So how are you?
I'm good. But
Alhamdulillah.
I missed like a couple of minutes because I was at my nan's house.
It's okay. Did you attend yesterday's lesson?
Yeah, but I didn't quite understand it.
Okay, it's fine. Would you still like to give it a try? And let's see how it
Yeah.
goes. Just give it a
Okay.
try and we'll see how it goes.
Can I repeat after you?
Okay, sure. Would you still like to try once? And if it's okay, I'll help you later then, okay? Okay, so start with this one. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll read the word and then you follow, okay?
Okay.
Mansura.
Mansura.
Do you know why did we pause like this over here?
Because
It's because there's a tanween of fatha over here, and whenever there's a tanween of fatha, we read one fatha with an alif, and we take it as huruf madda, so we prolong the sound for 2 seconds. Mansura.
Mansura.
Yes, okay. Istabroq.
Istabroq.
Yes, because there's a tanween of dhamma over here. Whenever there's tanween of dhamma, we change stroke into sukoon. And we read it as if there's a sukoon on top of qaf over here. Istabroq.
Istabroq.
Yes. Lawaki.
Labaki.
Yes, because again, there's a tanween of dhamma over here. We're going to change it into sukoon. Lawaki.
Lawaki.
Yes, we need to make sure that everybody does hear the ain sound. We do need to pronounce the letter ain, but with a sukoon. Lawaki.
Lawaki.
Yes. Yazakka.
Yazakka.
Yes, over here, we're going to change the fatha stroke into a vertical fatha, and we're going to prolong the sound for 2 seconds. Yazakka.
Yazakka.
Yes. Wal fajr.
Wal fajr.
Yes, over here we're going to we're going to change the kasra stroke over here into sukoon. Wal fajr.
Wal fajr.
Yes. Okay, mashallah, very well read. Please practice this exercise at home and revise all the rules so you just get better with all these words, okay?
Okay.
And Jazakillah for helping me.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Can I have next student, please?
Yes, A1238.
A1238. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalam.
How are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. Would you like to have a go at reading this line for me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Would you like to start with this word?
Yes.
Okay.
Al-ashqa.
Okay, that's good. Remember, we're going to change the fatha stroke into vertical fatha, and we're going to prolong the sound for 2 seconds because that's how long you prolong the sounds for vertical fatha. Al-ashqa.
Al-ashqa.
Yes, very good. Next one.
Na'amahu.
Okay, remember, we're going to change the vertical dhamma stroke into sukoon. So would you like to try it now?
Na'amaha.
We're going to change the vertical dhamma into a sukoon. So we're going to read it as na'amah. Na'amah.
Na'amah.
Yes. Next one.
Aqlallamma.
Yes, very good. Remember?
Aqlamma.
Yes, very good. Aqlallamma.
Aqlallamma.
Yes, next one.
Al-yanta.
Try again.
Lam yanta.
Very good. Very good. Next one.
Qati'ah.
Very good, mashallah. Very well read. Jazakallah for helping me out with this. Yeah.
My brother's with me as well.
Okay, what's his ID?
A1192.
A1192. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. Would you like to have a go at reading this last line for me, please?
I want to follow you.
You want to follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the first word over here, we're going to change the tanween of dhamma into a sukoon. So we're going to read it as if there's a sukoon on top of hamza. Dif.
This.
Yes, remember we do need to pronounce hamza over here. Dif.
This.
Yes, give a slight jerk at the end so everybody just hear the hamza over here. Okay, over here, we're going to, since there is a tanween of fatha, we're going to read one fatha with an alif, and we're going to change the other one. So we're going to read, instead of tanween of fatha, we're going to change it into fatha with an alif. So what?
What?
Yes, very good. Over here, again, there's a tanween of fatha. Instead of reading it as tanween, we're going to read one fatha and make the other one as alif. Suda. Yes. Okay, over here, we're going to change the dhamma stroke into a sukoon. But remember, there's a mushaddad letter at the end, which is going to stay over there. Sana should. Yes, we're going to give a slight emphasis on dal because the letter is a mushaddad letter. Sana should. Yes. And over here again, it's a tanween of fatha. We're going to read one fatha with alif. Rid. Yes, mashallah. Very well read. Jazakallah for helping me out with it. Until next time, Allah Hafiz. So today we completed exercise for rules of work, exercise 21.1. So your homework for Friday is to revise the topic rules of work. Practice the rules covered today by finding some examples in the Quran, and make sure you do this with someone who knows how to read Quran. So they can guide you where you can stop and where it's not good to stop. And your homework for the weekend is for Saturday, and for Sunday again is revising rules of work. For Saturday, practice exercise 21.1, which you did yesterday and today. Read each word in both modes without stopping, and when with a pause, once without a pause, once with a pause. Refer to rules page 60-61 if you need any sort of help. It's the same homework for Sunday as well. So revise rules of work on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and practice exercise 21.1. So now we're going to end our class with the ending prayer. Can I have a student please to read the prayer for me?
Yes. N1304.
N1304. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. Can you read the prayer for me, please?
Allah.
A'udhu billah, bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة.
Very good, mashallah. And the translation as well?
O Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
MashaAllah, very well read. Jazakallah for reading that for me. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum. So, Jazakumullah everyone. Jazakumullah everyone for attending. I hope you all learned something today. Inshallah, we'll meet again soon. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.